Today, I've been reflecting on freedom through fewer labels and how labels we create for ourselves can often form cages. So, by labels, I mean the roles we play. It's the job roles, it's the society roles, it's the underlying way of showing up in the world. And I was thinking about the roles I played throughout my life, whether it was being just a son, or it was being a student, or it was being an athlete, and being a coach more recently, and how all of those have benefits, the certain parts of that role which you embody, but over time, they all become a trap. They all become a conditioning, the way that you have to show up. And when you play a role well, or you don't realize you're in a role, it very quickly becomes very rigid. It becomes very limiting in terms of what you can do. So the first thing I had reflection of this was that most roles we have are inherited. We think that we're showing up as a very conscious version of ourselves, moment to moment. We're choosing who we want to be. When in reality, most of how we show up is based on our old conditioning, our experiences as a child, or friends around us we had growing up, and we have a lot of things that we've kind of embedded into this role that we're playing in life. Now, as we become adults, we start to take our roles more seriously. We start to choose our jobs and our career path. We start to choose our partners. We choose where we want to live. We want to choose what kind of house we want to have in. And we're like, oh yes, I am now in control. But without realizing it, we're very quickly creating new roles. And often those roles are trying to get the same internal feeling that the old roles were. We're still trying to be seen. We're still trying to achieve things. We're still trying to prove our worth to the world. And it's a very tricky trap because we get rewarded for it. If you play your role well in society, you do good at your job, you be a good husband, a good partner, a good athlete, life rewards you. It rewards the good player of the roles. But soon we can't step out of those roles. And this is what I want to kind of touch on today, when the role becomes too rigid. So example for me, let's look at being a coach. That's a role I have. On one avenue, I really enjoy being a coach. I enjoy teaching, I enjoy sharing things. But with that role also comes some responsibilities. I need to know answers. I can't show weakness, like debatable. I need to make sure I'm always there for advice and kind of reasonable, smart one. So with that is kind of unwritten rules that I can't mess around. I can't be a joker. I can't do things that maybe I would do normally outside that role. So also being an athlete. With being an athlete, if you identify with that role, then you've got to treat your trainer seriously. You've got to look after your body, look after your health, look after all things around performance. And that is great on a lot of avenues, but sometimes you may not want to be the athlete. You might want to be just a normal person who allows himself to have cheat meals and do fun things with friends. So it got me thinking about how important it is to realize when you're playing a role and when to put the role down. This is my big realization. It's the one I've had recently as I kind of navigate towards sharing more vulnerable stuff, just sharing my ideas. It's putting down the role. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have done this video because I would have been, it's not polished enough, doesn't sound professional enough, doesn't sound like the authoritative coach who knows what he's talking about. And to do these kind of videos or to show up as my best self or my most true self, I need to put down the role. Know when to put down the role. Allow yourself permission to put down the role. So this reminds me of something I heard from Ram Dass, who was a good kind of spiritual teacher, but also very wise in terms of understanding the human experience. And he did this lecture, which became a book, on becoming nobody. And he talked about we're all busy trying to be somebody, but what happens when you become nobody? I remember when I first listened to that, it kind of hit me at a bad time. I was like, nah, don't get that. What is he talking about? He's talking about being nobody. Who wants to be a nobody? We all want to be somebody. But as I got into this idea and I listened to his philosophy more, he was talking about like how we're conditioned to play roles and society rewards us for playing these roles. But what are we beyond the role? When we put the role down, what is left? Who is left? And because we're so busy trying to be somebody, we forget what it's like to be nobody. And nobody being a loose term for you without the roles. And yeah, I've recently came back to this idea and started to realize how much truth there is in the power of becoming nobody, being yourself and allowing yourself permission just to be yourself without being the performer. So when I think of stripping away roles, very quickly I start to be more present and care less about performance. I allow myself permission to be silly, be stupid, be curious, not know answers, and just do whatever the moment requires of me. And when I'm at my best, or I feel at my best, I have no self-concept, I have no self-consciousness about myself, and I have no real agenda of what I'm trying to do. I'm letting life dictate the moment I'm in, and I'm spontaneously allowed to react to that moment. And it got me thinking, like, those moments are quite rare. But when you're a child, children naturally embody this. They're always playing, always just playing role play. What role should I play? Should I be the Superman? Should I be the athlete? Should I be, they just put on roles, just like they're playing a game. And they do it so effortlessly. And we go, yeah, that's children playing around. But as adults, we take it seriously. We're like, no, I'm professional. I'm taking my job seriously, taking my career seriously, taking my life seriously. And we forget to play. We forget to remember that we're not just a role, that we are just a person, that we can just play and have fun and enjoy life. So my realization or my insights of the day, which I want to share with you, is know when to let go of your roles. Give yourself permission to drop your roles, to drop being serious, to drop having the answers, to drop all the kind of serious roles you've put on to perform well. You can have them. You can still use those roles, but just know they're a role. They're something you do to get an outcome you want, to show up in a certain way. But don't take it too seriously. And give yourself permission to step out of your roles, to step out of the conditioning that you've created for yourself and just live your life. Live in the moment. Be present. And I know that can sound very abstract and very, drop the roles. But it's just a reminder to moment to moment or times of day, times of your week, to allow yourself just to step out of being the serious person in the role. And for me, that means more play, more enjoyment, less answers, less knowing, just being here, doing what I want to do in the moment for the sheer joy of it. And to me, that's a lesson worth reminding.